Now we're going to learn how to write linear inequalities from a graph, as well as how to check to see if a solution is true. So first of all, we're going to learn how to check solutions. And this is just like checking a test point when we graphed inequalities. So you take the x value and substitute it in for x, and the y value and substitute it in for y into your inequality, and you see if it makes a true statement. So replacing y with -3, is that greater than replacing x with 4 and subtracting 5. So order of operations will multiply before we subtract, so we get 12 minus 5. Is -3 greater than 7? The answer is no, so 4 and -3 is not a solution to our inequality. Next example, this time we're replacing both x and y with -1, and we have our inequality in standard form. Multiplying first, we get -2. Now in the second one, I'm going to take -3 and multiply by -1, and that gives me a +3. That way I don't have a double negative sign. -2 plus 3 is 1 less than 7? And the answer is yes. So -1 is a solution to our inequality. Next, we're going to learn how to write the inequality from the graph. So the first thing that I like to do is look for slope-intercept form. It's unique and it's much easier than point-slope or standard form. So I look for the y-intercept. In this case, our graph crosses the y-axis at -1, so our b value is -1. And then I look for another nice coordinate so I can use rise over run for my slope. And the next nice coordinate that I see appears to be this point right here. So I'm going to set up my triangle for rise over run. My line is rising, so I know I have a positive slope. Between the 2 points, I'm rising 2 and running 3. So I have a slope of 2/3. Once I identify those two pieces of information, I put them into slope-intercept form. So we've got y. I'm going to leave a little space here because it's going to be greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and we still need to figure that out. 2/3 x minus 1, substituting the slope and the b into my y-intercept. Next, I notice that my line is solid, so I know it's going to be an or equal to, so I just need to figure out if it's greater than or less than. So what you can do is take any point that is a solution. I like using 0 as at least one of my values. Unfortunately, 0, 0 is not a solution, so I'll just find a different point on my x or y axis. I'm going to take this point right here. I know for sure this will make my inequality true. That is the point 0, -3. Once you figure out that point, you substitute those into the inequality and then put the inequality symbol facing the way that will make the inequality true. So replacing y with -3, I'm going to keep my or equal to. I'm going to put a little question mark here because I don't know which way it's going to face. 2/3 times 0. It was nice to choose an x value of 0 so I didn't have to mess with multiplying my fraction by a number. So I get -3. Is that greater than or less than -1? Now with negative numbers, it's a little bit tricky, so think about, would you rather owe somebody $3 or would you rather owe them $1? I would rather only owe $1, so that value is greater than -3. So we go back up to our original inequality, put the symbol facing the correct way, and this is our final solution. Y is less than or equal to 2/3 x minus 1. One more example, same process. I'm going to find that y-intercept. This time my b value appears to be 2. Find my slope, looking for any other nice point on the graph. In this case, it looks to me like I've got another nice point here. So setting up my triangle for rise over run. My line is falling so that I know my slope will be negative. I'm rising 3 and running left 1. So my slope is -3/1. or -3. Setting up my inequality, I have y, leaving a space for the symbol, -3x plus 2. And now we need to see if it's greater than or less than. I know it will be one of the two because my line is dotted, so there's no or equal to this time. 0, 0 is a solution to this inequality, so I'm going to substitute that in for x and y. put a question mark where the symbol is, multiplying my negative 3 by 0. Is 0 greater than or less than 2? This one's a little easier since it's positive. 0 is less than 2. So my final inequality is y is less than negative 3x plus 2. Here are 2 you-try questions. Please attempt them and come to class prepared to start class with our warm-up.